Today, I want to talk to you about ways to improve quality using a tactic called incremental exponential investment. Every time we need to improve quality, we do it incrementally and we follow an exponential base to get there. So, a lot of people end up getting stuck and they get stuck in a process a little bit like this. This is the nature of the trap, right? Feature gets prioritized over fixing things that are critical and breaking all the time. Quality drops further, the same things break all the time, right? And then we end up, think about a solution. We propose a big refactor to solve it, but the cost of that thing is way too high. Proposal is rejected, obviously, because the cost is too high. It's like we just have to make do with what we have, see what you can do. And we go back into this kind of negative spiral where things just roll out of control, right? So the question is, how do we get out of that situation, right? So that's the incremental exponential investment. This is the way I'm suggesting, one of the ways you can get out of this. So think about this. First of all, we need a healthy trade-off between over and under engineering, right? This here shows us we do not have a healthy trade-off between over and under engineering. So we need some kind of guiding policy or principle in place that allows us to reach that healthy trade-off, right? So things are unhealthy. A way to solve it is also unhealthy, right? Underinvestment, a huge burst seen as an overinvestment could possibly be an overinvestment as well. So we need to solve this. How do we earn proportional complexity as we go through this, right? So something I suggest here is think about this: the time to invest in fixing these problems that keep coming up, right? And then think about that and the number of repeat occurrences of that problem. So what I'm suggesting here is think about this: time to invest in a problem. The first time you had that type of problem, right? Let's say you had the database connection string timeout, and you know why it is. And now we have to fix the problem. So just spend 5 minutes, and it could be as simple as, explain the problem in a Slack message, build awareness. 5 minutes, first time it happened, might not happen again. Second time it happens, have a Zoom call with people relevant or meet in person if you're still doing that, and just have a conversation around how do we get out of this problem? How do we avoid it? Just deepen the training, right? Third incident, that should be a half-hour Zoom call. Third incident, write a detailed document for the team to read and even go into the code somewhere. Could be your CI pipeline, could be your project, could be your development environment, not sure, and add some special flag to prevent this error from happening in a more systemic way, right? Maybe it's an hour of work. Maybe that's a bit optimistic. Maybe it's 2 hours. Don't know. But the idea is you find a solution that fits the time box, right? So it's what's the best you can do with 5 minutes, with 30 minutes, with 1 hour. And as the incidents continue, on the fourth incident, the fifth incident, sixth incident, we end up in a place where it's like, okay, sixth incident, we have enough evidence that this concept is probably not going to be maintained. We've tried sending the Slack message. We've tried the Zoom call training. We've tried the, writing a document and adding a flag in the code to control the problem. We tried a marginal code fix to avoid this hack or whatever's going on, right? We've tried making bigger changes to how the code is executed. And at this stage, we just need to do a whole rewrite. So in this case, 6 incidents in, we're going to spend a week. And so that's the exponential escalation going from 5, 30, 1 hour, 4 hours a day, a week. And if this still doesn't work, you're going to spend a month. So this is the approach. It's not always the best thing. And there's a big caveat to this, right? So something to be careful of is investing time is a commitment to budget for the problem. It doesn't promise it will be solved, right? It's just a way to control the amount of time and keep track that we're not investing more than we have evidence for. And the other side of that is, sometimes not fixing a thing is truly worth it, right? So it could be that the occurrence rate of a problem is just not a problem at all, right? It could be, we've all seen these error logs that don't really mean anything, right? Could truly be something we don't need to fix. The throughput of your team is really the guiding principle behind this, right? You want to make sure you don't drop the team throughput and team health and your ability to focus on what you actually care about fixing because you're over-investing or under-investing in this thing, right? If you under-invest, your project gets hijacked by ad hoc fixes and fires, And if you're over investing, you don't actually get to work on the things that are valuable, right? The other constraint here is, of course, think, the types of actions you take. Maybe you want to put a modifier in here depending on the severity of those incidents, right? So if it's like the production system went offline and it's something deeper and it's obvious, maybe you want to modify that and say, like, okay, we're going to modify that by, add 3x on everything, or something like this. So there could be modifiers that enhance those time buckets. The main thing here is to increase exponentially the time spent on something based on the occurrence, and you can modify that by the impact and severity of that outage or in your complexity. Something I like to explain as a model for a lot of people on this topic is it's kind of like in investing. You have this thing called trailing stop, and the trailing stop is to make sure you don't lose all of your money. Then you can try to maximize profits. Now, this is not investment advice, and this doesn't always work, and there's an art to it. But the theory is you won't go broke, right? So the trailing stop is this window, and the window says anything that drops below this bar from this top bar is when I'm going to sell all of the shares and not, go out of money, right? So it's, if we have it here, it's like, the bottom and the top is there, so I'm going to keep investing. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. And then we move along further up our chart and we say, okay, oh, there was a dip, but actually it's still inside the window. I can tolerate that. I can tolerate those gains. Here's a problem. We're here. The top bar has now exceeded the minimum bar. I'm going to sell all my shares. And it means you miss out on all this loss, but it also means you missed out on that profit. Maybe you have a special order to buy back in at this point, but you avoid losing all of that. So it's kind of a strategy like that, right? It's a strategy to see how far can we go without over investing or under investing. So I think that's the main thing to think about. So what are the recaps here, right? First of all, adapt the technical investment budget to increase whenever the need is shown. And the need is shown every time you have an outage, but you adapt the technical investment budget, right? We invest incrementally and exponentially with each incident on the same problem space, right? If it's a different type of incident, obviously it's a new category of investment. Do not over or underinvest. And budget increases should be proportional to the frequency of the problem and possibly the severity of the issue. This strategy is only a way to ensure the budget, right? It's only ensuring the budget is there to do these things. It does not mean everything can be fixed in that time window. So if you have the next incident, even though you sent out that Slack message, it just builds evidence that you need to spend more time thinking about this. Well, that's it for today's video. So if you want to get more content like this and these little quick tips and just deeper dives into ways to manage your teams and your processes better, feel free to subscribe to the channel so you can get up to date with when the new videos are out, and just stay informed of different tactics like this that you can use inside of your teams. Thank you so much.